Happy Wednesday. Try again. Happy Friday. So I had to reschedule Wednesday. Back to school is crazy for everybody around here. And as a support person, I am no different. And I thought that I could just keep my routine up and it would be great. But I forgot about back to school exhaustion. So I had some things I had to get done Wednesday, and I almost had to cancel today. I woke up with a migraine. I suffered through, I made it through. I came home, I took a nap, and here I am. So I'm going to see if I can get through this. It's 4 cards tonight. We are featuring the One Horse Open Sleigh suite of products that is available as an online exclusive item. And I'm Nicole from Equally Creative Nicole. I hope you like and subscribe, share me with your friends. And let me show you first what this suite looks like. So I'm going to pop over to the website and show you what is happening. Let's see, select a tab to share. Well, there we go. Okay. So here is the entire suite of products. So as you can see, we have wonderful designer series paper, which I will show you a few of those sheets in just a moment. I have used a couple of them all the way up, but don't worry, I have a couple more packs on their way. We have these beautiful, shiny, metallic snowflake embellishments. We have the beautiful horse and sleigh stamp set, and then there are die cuts that go along with it as well. If you are catching me on the replay, not a big deal, obviously. We rescheduled. As of today, it is August 18th. These are still available on the website. So let's see. All right, so I'm going to turn my camera down and share these items with you, or I should say I'm going to move cameras. Okay. So let's get a little closer so you can see. There we go. All right, so here are those metallic, shimmery metal snowflakes. Okay. Here are those papers. These are a double-sided set. So we have a front and a back for each design. You get 4 each of the designs. And again, like I have one that we've used, so I don't have additional ones to show you at the moment. You can see. So that is the back of that one. I really like this one. It's got this green and like a mustardy yellow color. I'm not 100% sure if it is our wheat color. Wild wheat. Have to look at the name every single time. Okay, this one is really cool with some crumb cake color in there. Look at the Bambi deer. Okay, that's the back of that one. It's beautiful green as again. That one. We have a wonderful fox. It looks like he's in a snowstorm. I've not used him yet, obviously, with the wood grain on the back, but I will definitely be using that one. So I've got 2 of these left with this beautiful red on the back. And then we have this one, that little woodsy scene. I love that it's not just solid greens or solid blues, but like a mixture of both. So that's a lot of fun. But just a different winter style. Okay. And here is the stamp set. It's got this awesome tree here, this tree skeleton that has lost all its leaves. We've got our sayings, wishing you a season of cheer and a happy new year. sending warmth your way and joyful. We've got our little, I call it a snowshoe rabbit. I don't know that that's exactly what it is, but it's a rabbit enjoying the winter time. And then we've got the horse and the sleigh and the die cuts that go with it. So let's see. I have 4 cards for you tonight. If you are ordering, the ordering special is listed in the description, and you can get the kit for these cards for free through that ordering special. I did provide a link if you were interested in just paying the $20 to get the kit of materials sent to you. So this is our first card, Sending Warmth Your Way. We are going to use the paper to do a lot of the talking in a couple of our projects today. So this suite just has such a great image set of images that they don't need a whole lot of extra work to them. So we're going to put this one together. This is our super simple card that, of course, anybody can do all the cards tonight, but if you feel like you are the most basic of a beginner, you can still accomplish this at home without any worries. It's still going to be beautiful. I did do some pre-work. I am going to add an extra piece of washi tape here so that my top sheet will stay in place a little bit. I like to give y'all a clean image of what's happening here. You don't want to see the mess underneath here. Okay, so we have 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. Fold and burnish as usual. Pretty standard. Again, all of tonight's cards are beginner friendly, even though a couple of them are going to look harder than they really are. Okay. We have 2 pieces of basic white. These are 4 by 5 1/4. Let's see. I stamped the little rabbit on the inside. So we're going to stamp the inside piece first, and then we will add a couple of layers here. So again, this is the 4 by 5 1/4. And I just did the little gray granite for the bunny. These are our clear photopolymer stamps. So they're really great for placing items in specific spots, but it's also nice for just being able to wash these, and they stick on anything that is like a plastic. So even if you don't have a block, I have had people, if you don't have a block, give me a call. But I've had people who are like, yeah, I put it at the bottom of a glass cup and it worked just fine. So there are options. So we're going to put our little bunny jumping. Okay, there he is. And I'm going to close this up and put that away. And we'll put this on the inside of our card. We have our sentiment going on the outside, so we won't need it on the inside unless you were changing it up. You absolutely can. You can do the greeting that says, wishing you a season of cheer, and then there's a second part that says, and a happy new year. You could put the and a happy new year on the inside, and that would work just fine as well. Okay, so now I'm going to add that second layer. I'm going to do these 2 layers first. We're going to wrap our ribbon and then add it. So anytime you have ribbon wrapped around your front, you either want to go around all of your layers, or you can tuck your ends in under your top layering parts. So this is 3 3/4 by 5, just to give us that nice consistent outer matting technique. So we're just going to lay that on there. We are going to grab our ribbon, which is also an online exclusive item. And I want to make sure I have enough. So pull it out just a little bit. I like to cut on the diagonal as much as possible, just so it doesn't fray unless I am wanting it to do that, at least I have some control over it. So I'm going to look at the bottom. I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive down here and take my ribbon, run that around, and then tuck it back on this adhesive here. And we are going to adhere this piece down now that our ribbon has been tucked. And again, that layering effect in place. So what I do is concentrically take away 1/4 of an inch when I am cutting, so that I have that nice even set of matting on the outside edges. Now I pre-stamped this one. This was nice and easy to do that. And I'm gonna put this here, leaving that little border, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna trim this one down. And this part is gonna go up on dimensionals. And this is gonna go right on the ribbon. Now, just because I want to stabilize it a little bit, I'm going to add one to the top and one to the bottom, and that'll be holding it directly to the paper so that it's not just moving on top of the ribbon here. Okay, so it doesn't move. All right, so that is card number 1. Easy peasy, right? You can handle that. Awesome. All right, let's look at card number 2. Now, card number 2, I was inspired by an artisan. There was not a name attached to it, just that it was one of the artisan team that designed it. And this is Wishing You a Season of Cheer. Hold it a little close. Let's see if you can see. We've got a lot of technique going on in here. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, you can do this even if you're a beginner. So you're going to need 4 1/4 by 11. It is scored at 5 1/2. So again, we're going to fold, line it up, and burnish those edges. It gives it a nice sharp, crisp fold here. Must have had something on there. So we're going to just turn that over to the back. A little bit of pencil or something on there. We'll see. All right, so we've got some bits and pieces here. So we're going to want to do our stamping first. So I'm going to move this out of the way. We're going to use this first. And I did stamp and cut that tree so that we weren't waiting too long. So we're going to do this piece first and our sentiment. Okay, so we're going to use those branches with no leaves, and we're going to do our 2nd generation stamping. And we used Pool Party. Too many stamp colors to leave out all over the place for a week at a time. So thanks for the grace while I grab them from behind me. So 2nd generation stamping essentially means I'm going to stamp off on my paper first, and then I'm going to stamp onto the card element. It's going to give me a much lighter stamp and offers a little bit of dimension. Okay. Let's see if I can put that where I won't wear it. And Season of Cheer. Let's see if I pulled that one out already. I did. Okay. So Wishing You a Season of Cheer. we're going to stamp this towards the end of our sentiment piece here. Try not to wiggle it. And I'm just going to trim this one again. Set that aside. And then I did use these little specklies. I don't even know what it is. It looks like it could be snow, but I don't know. It's just going to be some little detail elements on the bottom here. We're going to add some interest with these dark dots. Could be little droppings. It could be berries that have fallen onto the ground. Whatever you want to make it is what it is. Pine cone pieces from our tree. All right, so before I do anything else, I'm going to fleck this. Now, to get that flecked look, you are going to use a marker. So I've got the Night of Navy, which matches the blue that I'm using here. And I'm going to use the thick side. So you can see we have a thick and then a fine tip. So I'm going to use this thick side. I am going to scrape the thick tip through the lid here, and it's going to splatter on. And I'm going to be pretty close, but this is why you have protective paper. And I don't know how well you can see it there, but I'll bring it closer so you can see those flecks on there. Just really great little added addition. All right, so the next part I'm going to do is add a little bit of tape runner right on the edge here. And I'm going to get my twine and create that little ribbon look. So I'll just pull this down so you can see what we're replicating. So I'm going to do this ribbon right here. And what I did was I wrapped it around 3 fingers a few times and then snipped the end. Excuse me. Pulled that off and twisted it and then put that on here like that. And now you can kind of play with this as you would like, but I didn't mess with it too much. But you can pull them how you'd like. You can trim that tail. If I could find the tail, there we go. So I'm going to pull the tail out just a little bit. There. And I'm going to snip it so it's not quite so long. Okay. And just smush these onto that little bit of adhesive that we put. So that is what that part does. And now I'm going to take the metallic snowflakes and I'm going to go ahead and add some of those before I add all of the other layers. So got a layer here. We had a layer down there, but now I've buried that, so I'll put one here, and then I will take one and I'm gonna move it maybe right down here. Okay, so now we can start layering everything else. So I'm going to go ahead and add the tree on dimensionals. And I am going to use 2 different sizes because I want to make sure that this tree trunk is supported well because our sentiment is going right on top of that. So let's go ahead and layer this on. And then I like to put my pieces right on here so that I know exactly where they are going to be. So did it like that. And now I'll take the backings off and I'm going to set the sentiment right on top of that. And I am laying it directly on here like this, smushing it down. You can see we've got some elements that peek out here. Okay. And now I can add this part to here. And because I've got a bunch of layers and bulk, I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive to the center of this part. And I'm going to center my rectangles, leaving that nice edge. Okay. And I am going to eyeball this because I want this to show out from there. So that looks about good right here. So I'll add my adhesive and place this up here, lining it up with one of those edges so it's nice and even. And now I'm going to add this whole thing with dimensionals as well. All right, so never let your dimensionals go to waste. The whole border is like dimensionals that you can cut. And we're going to layer this one on. Just like this. All right. So that was our card inspired by the artisan team. Again, simple enough that you can do it too. So card number 2, done. Okay, give me a second to re-sweep some things up here. And I'm going to clean off my sentiments so I can use them again. This is our chamois, simple chamois here. And it's going to look gross, but it still cleans. Kaylee rinsed it out for me before I got started, which was very kind of my teenager. Make sure all these are ready. Ooh, and they fall just like dominoes. Oh, here's one. Okay, now we're ready for the second part. We have 2 more cards to go. Again, we're going to feature that designer series paper for some wonderful artistic flair. Forgot the bunny. All right. So let's take a look. Here we go. So here is that horse and sleigh. You can color this with markers. You can color this with blends. I used blends and I used the Memento ink. I did die cut this out, and you can see the backdrop is a piece of designer series paper. So let's take a look at how that is created. And I wrote myself some notes so you could see just how to cut the designer series paper. If you buy the kit, yours will already be cut for you. I'm nice like that until until I have thousands of people ordering. I think I can handle it. All right, so we're going to cut 1 inch off the bottom and 1 1/4 inch off the top. So this is the top. So I'm going to cut at 1 1/4 inches. And then I'll come and cut 1 inch off of the bottom. And that's going to give me 3 3/4. And then I'm going to do 4 1/2. And I could see if I wanted this in one direction or another. And I think I would like to hold on to everything on this side. So I lined that up with my 4 1/2 mark and cut everything else off. And now I'm going to cut these pieces into 1 1/2 inches. So I have my 3 3/4 this direction. Now I'm going to have 1.5 inches for each of these. And I'm going to create 3 panels. Oop, have to use the dark blade for a deep cut. I made these nice, easy size dimensions. No splitting hairs here. Okay. Our card base is 8.5 by 5.5. This one is scored at 4 1/4. Our white matte layer is 4 by 5 1/4. And then that DSP was 3 3/4 by 4.5. And we are going to use this in a landscape orientation. I'm going to go ahead and put that first matted layer down. And then I'm going to show you how to put those 3 panels on in a way that you are going to look like you're a professional. Okay, so I'm starting with my outside pieces. I'm going to add my adhesive to the back. I am using the outer edge to line this up, centered from top and bottom, and then trying to match that matted edge. And I'll do that again on the right hand side or the left hand side, depending on what direction you're using. Again, I'm lining this up left to right and eyeballing that border. Okay, so now the hardest part is just making sure you center this as best as you can. Remember, there are no card police, so even if it's a teeny tiny bit crooked, it's okay. Or one side is off. But this is how that looks before you add your horse and sleigh. All right, so the next part we're going to do is our horse and sleigh. And we're going to stamp "Wishing You a Season of Cheer" on the inside. Of course, I used my favorite. I actually used Cherry Cobbler and Real Red on these next 2 cards. But I love the Cherry Cobbler for this particular one. So I'm going to add this for the inside. Wishing you a season of cheer. I feel like I keep getting my head in the camera. I apologize. Okay, we'll move that aside. And again, you can use markers or you can use the blends. Either one are going to be great. So that goes in there. All right, got some cardstock out. I'm going to clean this one and move it out of the way. And then we are going to stamp our horse and sleigh. I'm using my Memento ink pad that I created from the white blank pad with the option to put the chalky white ink on it. I do have one set up with white ink, but I then took one and made it into a Memento ink pad, and I absolutely love it. And I will always credit Melissa Winko for that. She's fantastic. She's got a brain that works different from mine, and it's fabulous. We all struggle with the flaps on these things. And Melissa's like, yeah, I just tuck mine all the way in so I don't have to deal with it. Like, why didn't we all think of that? Because we don't have Melissa's brain. That's why. All right, so Actually, going to get this out of the way because I really don't want to wear memento on anything today. Move that out of the way. Okay. That's the most exciting part of watching is when I clean the ink pads, right? All right, so I'm going to grab a couple of blends. And so I've got a couple of our earth tones for my horse because I really liked him in those shaded colors. And then I used our dark sweet sorbet, which is an in color, and my cherry cobbler, dark cherry cobbler for some of my little shaded elements. And then I used the dark shaded spruce for the blanket and the hats. And then I'm going to use this pale color here. It's color number 700 because it's probably the closest to my skin color most days. But obviously you can match this to any skin color you choose. Move this to the side. All right, so I'm going to start with my horse, which I had these colors for. And I just did some rough coloring. There's no special way to do this. I did leave the little bridle here open so I can color that in. You can see where we have these little extra lines. That's where I'm going to add this other color. And then I just kind of left it so that there would be options for that other color to pick up in the white here. So I'm going to use the fine tip for some of this so that I can really guide where I'm coloring. So you can see I'm just kind of giving some scribbles. I don't want too much direction or organization to the coloring, I should say. Again, I'm not an artist. I just use the image to guide. A little mottled look up here, add a little bit of color to the mane, a little extra to the tail. All right, so there's our horse. Let's see, pull that a little closer for you. You can see nothing fancy, but it doesn't end up looking terrible in the real life. All right, so I liked the real red for the bridle, or the sweet sorbet, I should say. So that was nice and bright. And this is the color I colored the base of the sleigh. And I could have switched around to the wider end. It really doesn't matter. It is preference based. I am using thick basic white so that it doesn't bleed through to the other side too poorly. Our regular basic white is fine, but you will see that as you color, it does kind of bleed to the back. So I just like to have that durability. And then I am going to add that little bit of dark here. A little extra color. To the sleigh. Just so I have a little interest there, a little dark, little light. I'm going to color their blanket / jackets. I don't even know what they're wearing, but they're matchy-matchy. Because I am not 100% sure if they are jackets or blankets or a jacket and a blanket. So I just colored the whole thing and I think it worked out. All right, so then we have hands and faces to color. See, I swear that's my color. If I was riding, it would be me. And I'm going to use the green for their hats. I'm going to leave that pom-pom white. Okay. Now we get to use our cut and emboss machine. And we're going to cut our sleigh and horse out. I'm going to use a little piece of washi tape. Get a little bit of that sticky off. And it even cuts out the little parts in between the base of the sleigh. So that's kind of cool. I'm just lining that up. I'm going to add this. Okay. Now I could use the mini, but I have this one already open and ready to go. If you've watched before, you know I have a little drawer caddy under here, and it is phenomenal for cutting. And I just keep it ready to go right below my work surface here. So we're just going to send this through. Cuts all those little parts out. I just brush them into my garbage can nearby. Or I just, you know, wear them. It's all good. So here is our horse and sleigh. Really, really love this set. It's very exciting to have such an easy, what looks like fancy, but that was easy. Super, super easy to get that taken care of. All right, so now we're going to get this put together. So we're going to put all of this on dimensionals, and I'm going to go ahead and snip this up here to put these together. And I'm just going to start on one end and add as much or as little as I want. And again, I do want it fairly well supported on the front of this card, so I'm going to put a decent amount of them. And something smaller right here. There we go. All right, so now the trick is to get the backs off when you have fingernails. Sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's not. Sometimes I have to use my take a pick tool to get these off. Either way, however you get these off is okay. And I think I'm actually going to put this other one right here. So it's got lots and lots of dimension here. Stability. All right, and I'm putting this on the bottom of this image, centered. And I'm going to add some snowflakes. And I have used up almost all of my white ones, so I'm going to see what the gold snowflakes look like on here. So we're going to put some gold ones on there, change it up a little bit. I don't think I've used much of the gold ones at all yet. And I'm just putting kind of one, that triangle, one on each panel. Okay, so here is card number 3. Wishing you a season of cheer. I could add and a happy new year under here. Either way, not a big Happy New Year card person personally, but some people are. Some people, it's all about New Year. And I know in our mini, there's even a New Year thematic set. So if you like to send out Happy New Year cards, I'm your gal. I can hook you up. Okay. The last card is going to blow your mind. Not really, but it's so much fun. So we are going to create a moving card. So the whole thing doesn't move, just our horse and sleigh. So you can see it kind of goes back and forth. Super fun. And our Sending Warmth Your Way goes on the back. And I used those copper snowflakes on the front. So this is not very hard to do. I'm going to tuck this back in just so you can see where it starts. Okay, we'll set this up here and let me show you. All right, so I cheated a little bit because I didn't want to have to color and cut out again. So I have our card base, which is a standard card base. It is 4 1/4 by 11. We are scored at 5 1/2. We are going to fold and burnish that edge. Okay. We have our layer, which I'm using a little bit different so you can see. This is 4 by 5 1/4. We are going to layer this directly on here. And you're going to need a little extra adhesive for this one because you're going to be cutting out part of this card front. Okay. Now, I have been stamping for many years, so I have this word window, I think is what it was called, and it just punches an oval shape. And what I'm going to do is kind of get an idea of where I want it, and I want this to be kind of towards the bottom here. I could have cut more off the top and had less of the bottom taken off. Either way, you can kind of choose how you want it to look. And then I just kind of eyeballed the edge of my circle here. And I left a good thumb space here. I'm going to punch both of those layers out. This is what it looks like. La, la, la. Okay. Now I'm scooting this over and I want to leave another thumbs width here. This is going to limit how far our animals can go back and forth, our animal and sleigh, or whatever element you want to add here. Okay. This is our pull tab. So this is going to go in like this. And I actually want it towards the top. Okay. So just think about that being folded up in here. And now I have my parts there. And actually, sorry, psych. So the first thing you want to do is actually start this a little bit in. So I put this here so it has room to move in that direction. Okay. I'm going to put mini dimensionals inside this window towards the center. So I left a finger space here. I'm going to leave a finger space here. And then I'll pull the adhesive backs off. And I'm going to line up my horse and sleigh on there. Okay. So now they will move in and out just like that. Okay. And the trick is making sure when we add our adhesive here that we're not catching the pull tab. So we're going to use our tear and tape to close this whole folder. And you can see that didn't touch at all. And I'm just going to do the top and the bottom. will grab my take a pick tool for this because I always make a mess with my fingers. All right. So this is in here. It is not captured by my adhesive, and I'm going to fold this over. So that is now sealed, and I have my element here, can move forward and backward. There we go. Okay. And what I did for mine, I actually folded mine in, and I added adhesive, and then I punched a hole and added my ribbon so that I could use the ribbon so it'll all tuck in the envelope nicely. So that's what I'll do here, but I'm going to use a different ribbon, I think, because mine is a little thick. All right, so my tape went over just a little bit. It's not a big deal. I'm going to take the top off, and then I'm just going to make sure I tuck the extra adhesive back in. I'll fold that in, and then I'm going to simply punch a hole through here. And let me see if I have some thinner ribbon, which I know I do. Okay, so I think this is coming out soon, but it's really fun, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. This is the copper ribbon that's coming out in the mini. And it is much thinner than this red right here. So I'm going to put this through this way, and I'm going to tie this. And it looks like it frays a little bit, so that'll be interesting. You can actually make it fray more if you want. I probably could have done a little bit more in there. Either way, you get to do what you like. Go, go, go. There we go. So I'm going to tuck this all the way in so that it will fit inside my envelope. My ribbon will fit. And I can wiggle this so that it's nice and even. Okay, so that'll fit into the envelope. And I'm going to add, since I have that nice copper ribbon, I'm going to put some copper snowflakes on here, which is what I had used on the other one. Woo! Okay, so we have that, and we have our horse that moves. So you can pull, push and pull. Lots of fun. And then on the back is where you can write your people a love note, a happy holidays message. I'm going to go ahead and put on here that we are going to deliver warmth. And I know I pulled out some more backings. So you can see sending warmth. All right, let me grab another piece. So sending warmth your way. And I mean, we could use this right now in Louisiana. We can send some warmth to anybody because I am over it. Sending warmth your way. All right. So this will finish off our card. We'll add the adhesive to the back and put that on. Make sure I have it the right way. There's plenty of room to sign and send a message, and tuck that inside your card, your envelope. All right, so that is card number 4. Again, the ordering special is in the description. You will get all of these pieces pre-cut. I will even pre-cut your window punch. If you are interested, just let me know that in your ordering. There's a link for ordering just the kit. There's also the same link, but you'll let me know that you ordered using my host code, and the 4 card projects will be sent to you. Let's see here. Okay. I hope you enjoyed it. I made it through. I'm probably not going to do much else tonight. Maybe a little vegetating, and I will be back at it tomorrow and getting lots and lots of schoolwork done for my teachers. One of the biggest joys is being able to support teachers in the classroom. If you have the ability to volunteer at a school, I urge you to do so if that is something they are allowing post-COVID. And that's it. I know mine is for a job, but when I retire, I'm still going to go into the classroom and read to kids and snuggle them and, be the grandma type. So y'all have a great weekend, and I will see you on Wednesday for the actual last class of the Christmas online series. So hit me up if you want to see something special, and I'll see you soon.